Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. The Indian government steps in after food safety authorities in Singapore and Hong Kong claim to have detected a toxic cancer-causing chemical in some spice mixes of MDH and Everest. Sources say Indian authorities have sought technical details, analytical reports and details of exporters whose consignments are under the lens. Patanjali tells the Supreme Court it has issued a public apology across 67 newspapers over misleading advertisements. The Supreme Court asked if the apology was published prominently. The sensex and the nifty end in the green for the third straight day, but gains are limited. Volatility index slides 20%, the biggest fall in nearly 5 years. Reliance Industries, JSW Group, Amara Raja among the 7 bidders for the government's production-linked incentive scheme to manufacture batteries for electric vehicles. The scheme has an outlay of over 3,600 crore rupees. Indigos Rahul Bhatia and former Tech Mahindra CEO CP Gurnani launch a new artificial intelligence venture plan to offer cutting-edge technologies to businesses starting with travel-related industries. IIG Hotels and Resorts plans to double India footprint in the next 3 to 5 years. The global CEO Eli Malouf tells CNBC TV 18 the hospital sector is underdeveloped in many parts of the world. Highlights the grey population travelling more often than before. Adds that retirees have never been healthier and wealthier, offering a big opportunity for the hospitality sector. The United Nations human rights chief is horrified after reports of a mass grave inside a Gaza hospital that was occupied by Israeli forces. No progress in the peace talks as both sides trade barbs. Palestinian students' protests spread across the US with dozens arrested across Yale and NYU. Prime Minister Modi repeats his controversial comments on Muslims and claims the Congress party wants to extend reservation on the basis of religion. Also on the campaign trail, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath alleges the Congress wants to impose Sharia law. Election Commission says it's looking into the matter. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese calls Elon Musk an arrogant billionaire who considered himself above the law. This after X refuses to comply with Australia's regulator, asking them to take down videos of a stabbing incident in Sydney and not just geo-block the post. Also on the show, meet the coolest cops in town. Traffic police in Gujarat's Vadodara don AC helmets to beat the heat. A special report coming up. Well, let's go straight to the day's market action. The Lal Street ended higher for the third straight session, but the gains were limited today. The Nifty and the Sensex closing 0.25% higher. Mid-caps did outperform the blue chips after that index soared over 1%. However, the Volatility index slid 20% to record its biggest single-day fall since May of 2019. So that's the Nifty closing flat, but in positive territory, about 89 points higher on the Sensex. That is the Volatility index for you, the India Wix. Multiple brokerages have upgraded their target price for the Reliance Industries stock. This after strong Q4 performance. Reliance Jio, oil and gas and retail businesses leading from the front. The O2C business also remained resilient. Brokerages like Jefferies, Bernstein, Morgan Stanley have all upgraded their price target for Reliance Industries. The top story this evening, the Indian government has sought information from Singapore and Hong Kong food and drug departments after their claimed toxic substances were found in select spice mixes produced by Everest and MDH. Now, this move comes after Singapore ordered an import recall on select spice mixes produced by Everest. Authorities in Hong Kong have also issued an order asking MDH Masala to stop selling some products immediately. In both Singapore and Hong Kong, authorities claim to have detected ethylene oxide in select spice mix products. Ethylene oxide is classified as a Group 1 carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer and is banned across all food products in India. Abhimanyu joins us now with the details. Abhimanyu, take us through what the Indian authorities have now asked for.
Technical details, analytical reports and details of exporters whose consignments have been rejected in Hong Kong and Singapore have been sought as part of action being initiated on the part of the Indian government. Now, these reports have been sought not just from the embassies of India in Singapore and Hong Kong, but also from the food regulators in both these countries. Apart from that, the companies which have been named in these media reports have also been asked to file reports and details before the government. The root cause of the rejection investigation, and any corrective action would be determined based on the details which would be submitted by the exporters concerned. Also, an industry consultation is being organized to discuss the issue of mandatory testing of ethylene oxide in spice consignments to Singapore and Hong Kong. It remains to be seen what further action would be initiated by the government based on the reports and the details which would be submitted in due course, not just by Indian embassies, but also by several other parties.
Abhimanyu, many thanks for joining us. In fact, staying with that, India's food safety regulator will examine all infant formula and baby food products. The move comes after a Swiss organization claimed that Nestlé's baby food products sold in Asia, Africa and Latin America contained added sugar. Now, responding to the report, Nestlé said that variations in sugar content across countries depend on several factors, including regulation and the availability of local ingredients, which can result in offerings with lower or no added sugars. Nestlé also added that it does not compromise on the nutritional value of products for infants and young children. Now, official guidelines in India do not ban added sugar in products for infants or children. We learn a scientific committee of the FSSAI is likely to submit its report on this matter within a month and perhaps even consider whether India should move towards putting an end to any sugar in baby food formula. In Court Corner, Patanjali informed the Supreme Court that it has issued a public apology across 67 newspapers for misleading ads placed before the court. Now, asked if the apology was published as prominently, the court asked why the ads have not been placed on record before it. On the left of your screen are the full-page ads published in newspapers which landed Patanjali in hot water to start with. On the right of your screen is the apology published by Patanjali across various newspapers. The Supreme Court has adjourned the hearing now to next week. Now, the top court has also issued a warning to all FMCG companies over misleading ads. Ashmit is standing by with more. Ashmit, today the court sort of widening its scope, saying that a message needs to be sent out to all FMCG companies, but also the government. Take us through what transpired.
Well, indeed, the Apex Court might have seen this issue begin with Patanjali Ayurved and Baba Ramdev, but clearly now the Apex Court looking to widen the scope of these proceedings to include all FMCG companies. Now, what's important is that the Apex Court, while in the process of this hearing, observed that they're looking to expand the scope. They're looking at larger, much wider public interest. They're looking at issues of misleading advertisements, and that this is something that they will even seek answers from as far as the centre is concerned. We'll come to that in just a bit, but as far as FMCG companies are concerned, the Apex Court made it abundantly clear that it is looking to send out a message, not just to Baba Ramdev, not just to Patanjali Ayurved, but the broader ecosystem, the entire pool of FMCG companies, which the Supreme Court fears is moving in the direction of Patanjali by issuing advertisements. Important to point out here, reference made to no company whatsoever, no particular product or company referred to, but nonetheless, the Apex Court did observe that it has been reviewing the recent reportage in the media with respect to products that are meant for babies, products that are meant for children, products that are affecting their lives going forward, and children who are consuming these products based on misleading advertisements. That is something that the Apex Court is looking to come down hard on, has sought clarity from the various stakeholders in terms of what action is expected. That is something that the centre will now have to respond on. Earlier, only the Ayush Ministry was responding to the Apex Court. Now notices have been issued to the Consumer Affairs Ministry, the Ministry of I&B, the Ministry of Electronics and IT. All four ministries of the government will now have to respond on very pointed questions coming from the Apex Court on misleading advertisements. The Apex Court making it abundantly clear that the public cannot be taken for a ride.
Ashmit, many thanks for joining us. In other news, shares of M&M Financial slipping more than 8% in trade today. This after the company postponed its board meeting to discuss the Q4 results. The meeting was scheduled for today, and the delay comes after a 150 crore rupee fraud was detected at one of the company's branches located in the northeast region. The fraud allegedly involves the forgery of KYC documents related to retail vehicle loans. This resulted in the misappropriation of company funds. The results will now be declared on the 30th of May. Reliance Industries, JSW Group and Amara Raja are among the 7 bidders for the government's production-linked incentive scheme to manufacture batteries for electric vehicles. The scheme has an outlay of over 3,600 crores. The bidding is part of the second phase of the scheme. The PLI scheme was initially launched in 2021 with an outlay of over 18,000 crore rupees. The Director General of Civil Aviation has instructed airlines to ensure that children below the age of 12 are seated with their parents. This advisory comes after several cases came into notice where children below 12 were not seated with their parents. No relief for beleaguered edtech major Byju's just yet. That is, this after the National Company Law Tribunal deferred the rights issue case hearing to the 6th of June. Remember, the NCLT's order had prevented Byju's from using its funds for the rights issue and had asked the startup to deposit the money in an escrow account. However, investors allege that Byju's has used the funds in violation of the NCLT order. From one newsmaker to another, IIG Hotels and Resorts has plans to double its India footprint over the next 3 to 5 years. The global CEO, Eli Malouf, told CNBC TV 18 that the hospitality sector is underdeveloped in many parts of the world, highlighting that the grey population of retirees is travelling more often than before, saying that retirees have never been healthier and wealthier, offering a big opportunity for hospitality players.
Our strategy is very consistent and very exciting for India. Yes, we plan to double our hotel size and rooms over the next 3 to 5 years. We have 46 open hotels, nearly 50 under development right now. But we're really just getting started in a massive country like India, 1.4 billion people. But it's really multiple countries within a country, many different regions, zones, lots of different dynamics, strong domestic travel, growing international travel inbound. An aging population which is driving a wave of retirements of millions of people, tens of millions of people, that's going to go on for decades. These retirees are the healthiest and wealthiest of any generation. The healthiest and wealthiest of any generation. And among the top 3 things they want to do is travel. They want to travel, explore, see the world, see their grandkids, see their children, see their friends, and see the world because they're healthier and wealthier than any generation before. So yes, we focus on millennials and Gen Z and Gen Y and Gen X, but let's not forget that over 50% of the population in North America, Europe and China, and even Japan or Germany is over 50 and sometimes over 60.
That's IIG's global CEO. Now, Indigos Rahul Bhatia and former Tech Mahindra CEO CP Gurnani have launched a new tech venture. It's called Aenos, which means everlasting in Greek, and it plans to offer cutting-edge technologies to businesses starting with travel-related industries. I spoke with Bhatia and Gurnani on their new tech bet. Take a look.
You know, I've known CP for a very long time, and I knew that he was coming off his obligations at Tech Mahindra about a year before he did, and we were just having this conversation about trying to team up together. We used to have a technology business at some point in time, which we had sold in 2018. And it was just one of those things, after having sold it, we wanted to go back into the space. But obviously we were looking for the right sort of partnership, and CP and I talked for most of last year and came to the conclusion this is something we'd like to do together. And here we are.
What is the arrangement going to be for this particular joint venture servicing some of the other brands under the Interglobe umbrella?
Shireen, the joint venture with CP is not predicated on the businesses we have in terms of it becoming a service provider to these businesses. If that happens, it's just something that will happen. But I think what we bring to the table to the joint venture is the fact that we are in these 4 distinct industries, the fact that we have a lot of domain knowledge in each of these industries, the fact that we understand where these industries are not able to talk to each other. And we feel that just because of the institutional knowledge, what we bring to the table is this common thread of where the opportunities may lie.
But just in terms of capital, I mean, what's the kind of capital that you're putting into this business as it gets started?
Yeah. I mean, without going into numbers, we are well funded. And yeah, we're well funded for several years to come.
As you said that you bring to the table the experience that you've had across these sectors with the hope of being able to optimize on some of the problems that currently exist. What are the big challenges that you face within each of these industries that you hope to solve for?
We've just been gathering information. It all boils down to you as a customer, or enterprise as a customer, or the customer's customer. All 3 want better harmonization of data, better transparency and weaving together of the data. And I think our secret sauce is all about what you read in the press release, IntelliOS. That means an OS which will bring data and customer service together.
So you're not seeing any indications at this point in time of any sort of slowing down?
I mean, I'm going to make the classical comparison between China and India. You look at the number of hotel assets in China versus India. You look at the number of aircrafts flying in China versus India. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that, you know, that we have an enormous opportunity. Probably the last bastion of what I would call enormous growth in aviation and hospitality globally.
Rahul Bhatia and CP Gurnani tying up to join the tech bandwagon in the AI space. In international news, pro-Palestinian protests sweeping campuses of prestigious U.S. colleges like Yale, NYU and Columbia amidst the Israel-Palestine conflict. Demonstrations at these campuses have prompted significant police intervention and drastic administrative measures like cancellation of in-person classes at Columbia. Over 100 pro-Palestinian demonstrators who had camped out on Columbia's greens were arrested last week. Tensions remain high at Columbia after the campus gates were locked to people without a student ID. Meanwhile, police officers arrested about 45 protesters at Yale and charged them with misdemeanor and trespassing. Taiwan being struck by multiple earthquakes, leaving the city grappling with aftershocks. The strongest earthquake recorded, a magnitude of 6.3. Only minor damage has been reported with no casualties so far. This comes after a 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit the country on the 3rd of April, claiming the lives of at least 14 people. iPhone sales in China fell by 19% in March quarter, marking the worst quarter for the company since 2020. The fall largely attributed to the growth and expansion of Chinese phone brands Xiaomi and Honor. China continues to remain one of Apple's biggest markets. However, the escalated ban on foreign devices in state-backed firms and government agencies has hindered Apple's growth in China. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has called Elon Musk an arrogant billionaire who considers himself above the law. This after X refused to comply with orders, asking them to take down videos of a stabbing incident in Sydney and only geo-blocked the post. Musk tweeted on X asking if the e-safety in Australia has the authority over all countries on earth. Here's the Australian Prime Minister.
Well, this guy is showing his arrogance. He's a billionaire over there in the United States who thinks he's above Australian law. This isn't about censorship, it's about common sense and common decency, and Elon Musk should show some.
Up next on India Bissau, meet the coolest cops in town. The traffic police in Gujarat's Vadodara don AC helmets to beat the heat. A special report up next. And catch all of CNBC TV 18's news and updates on Facebook, X, Threads, Instagram and JioCinema. The industrial hub of Gurugram is all set to go to the polls on the 25th of May with 24.9 lakh people eligible to cast their votes. The Millennium City of Gurugram has 9 assembly segments, including Rewari and New. The district of New had seen widespread communal riots last year. Expectations across Gurugram are diverse, and the India Alliance is trying to defeat Rao Inderjit Singh of the BJP, who wants to win a 6th consecutive term. Take a look.
Commonly known as the Millennium City, Gurgaon hosts the India offices of over 250 Fortune 500 companies, including PepsiCo and Nestle, as well as the headquarters of the International Solar Alliance. However, the Gurgaon Lok Sabha constituency comprises of 9 assembly segments, which are a mix of urban areas, rural areas and urbanized villages. Approximately 25 kilometers from New Delhi, the city of Gurugram is one of India's leading financial and tech hubs. The city attracts 70% of total investments coming into Haryana and is a top manufacturing hub for automobiles, electronic components, chemicals and FMCG goods. But despite the economic prosperity, Gurugram is notorious for poor civic infrastructure.
There are some glaring issues which come to mind. I mean, in terms of infrastructure, roads, there's a lot that can be done. If considering that this is supposed to be a Millennium City, I'm sure there's a lot that we can expect from our local MP.
Over the last few decades, Gurugram has seen rapid development
but a lack of clear infrastructure planning has led to civic issues. Not all residents are sold on the kind of development the region has seen.
द्वारका एक्सप्रेसवे हो गया हमारा, इसका 3 बार उद्घाटन करा दिया। कई फील्ड में इन्होंने बहुत अच्छा, जैसे राम मंदिर बनाया, लेकिन राम सिर्फ हिंदुओं का या मोदी जी का अकेले का थोड़ा ही है, वो तो सभी का है, हमारे देश के भगवान है।
Of course, not everyone is unhappy.
हम मोदी को वोट क्यों ना दे? हम सुरक्षित है जी कति हर चीज से, बिजली अब भी 24 घंटा आती है जी हमारे पास।
While Gurugram has a large Hindu population, there is a significant Muslim population too. Nuh in Gurugram, with 80% Muslims, has one of the highest concentration of Muslims in North India. The district saw violent riots last year, which according to the police charge sheet was sparked by the killing of 2 Muslim men at the hands of cow vigilantes. People we spoke to say that while this is still a simmering issue, it's not the only one.
दंगे होते हैं तो इसमें नुकसान आम पब्लिक का ही होता है, उनका बेरोजगारी छिन जाती है, काफ़ी नुकसान हुआ लोगों को, कास्ट को लेके भी रहेगा, जॉब का भी रहेगा।
I don't think communal issues are prevalent in at least in this area where we live.
Voters in some pockets in Gurugram are also divided over the Agniveer scheme. The India Alliance has promised to withdraw the short-term Agniveer scheme for the armed forces.
हमारे यहाँ के बच्चों ने तो अग्निवीर स्कीम आई थी जब से भर्ती सब छोड़ दिए।
इससे बड़े कोई अपने जॉब कर लेगा वो अच्छा है, 4 साल में कौन शहीद होगा बेचारा।
To win the Gurugram seat, the BJP has fielded Rao Indrajit Singh yet again and is angling for a 6th term. JJP, the BJP's former ally, has fielded singer and rapper Rahul Yadav, also known as Fazil Puria. The Congress, meanwhile, which was once the dominant power in Haryana, is grappling with tremendous factionalism and is yet to announce its candidate. 5-time MP Rao Indrajit Singh is fighting for his 6th consecutive term and this time against an India Alliance candidate. But the task is not going to be easy for him at all. On the top of anti-incumbency, voters have flagged issues like poor civic infrastructure, lack of investment, jobs, and even apprehensions against the Agniveer scheme. Clearly, the electoral battle for Gurgaon would be one to watch out for. In Gurgaon with video journalist Akhilesh Singh, this is Abhimanyu Sharma for CNBC TV 18.
And more on election exchange, Prime Minister Modi has repeatedly told voters that the Congress manifesto talks about redistributing wealth of private citizens. This has given rise to more controversy this polling season. While the Congress has called out the Prime Minister and knocked on the Election Commission's door for what it alleges is a lie, the Prime Minister has doubled down on his charges at subsequent rallies. Abhishek Datta Roy finds out what could have prompted this latest furor.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not pulled his punches as he campaigns for a 3rd term in office. And one pot shot he has taken multiple times is the allegation that the Congress manifesto promises redistributing people's private wealth. He did this first at Banswara in Rajasthan.
पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। घुसपैठियों को बांटेंगे।
And again at Aligarh in Uttar Pradesh.
हमारे देश में माताओं बहनों के पास जो सोना होता है, कितना ही कम क्यों न हो, वो स्त्री धन होता है, पवित्र माना जाता है, कानून भी उसकी रक्षा करता है। अब इनकी नजर कानून बदलकर हमारी माताओं बहनों की संपत्ति छीनने का भी खेल खेला जा रहा है। उनका मंगलसूत्र, उस पर उन लोगों की नजर है।
The Congress took issue with both instances. It has complained to the Election Commission and called the Prime Minister's statement communal and divisive. It has also pointed out that its manifesto does not have anything about seizing personal wealth of citizens. The manifesto reads, and I quote, Congress will conduct a nationwide socio-economic and caste census to enumerate the castes and subcastes and their socio-economic conditions. Based on the data, we will strengthen the agenda for affirmative action. End quote. The caste census is not a new idea.
हमारा पहला कदम पूरे देश में जाति जनगणना को करवाने का होगा और हम पता लगाएंगे इस देश में दलित कितने, आदिवासी कितने, पिछड़े कितने?
The word redistribution does not appear in the manifesto either. It does, however, highlight that the party will address the growing inequality of wealth and income through suitable changes in policies. Neither does the manifesto refer to any faith or religion by name in this context, saying only that the party will respect and uphold the fundamental right to practice one's faith and the rights guaranteed to religious minorities under the Constitution. The Election Commission has confirmed that it has received Congress's complaint against the Prime Minister's remark, but is yet to act on the matter. In Mumbai, with Shreya Salvi, this is Abhishek Dattaroy.
The Indian Met Department has warned of heat waves across large parts of the country, and the administrations of Kanpur and Vadodara have swung into action to protect a vulnerable portion of their force, the traffic police. Dhananjay Khatri reports that one small company with a patented technology has stepped up to help with its unique air-conditioned helmets. Take a look.
These are not your regular helmets because each of these comes with an air conditioner built into it. To beat the heat, state government of Uttar Pradesh and Gujarat have entered into a partnership with a Telangana-based startup firm Just Safety to provide AC helmets for the traffic police personnel. While 350 helmets have already been given to Vadodara City Traffic Police, and now 7 helmets have already been given to the Kanpur City Police, and this is expected to be rolled out in major other police commissionerates as well. These specially designed helmets come with a patented cooling design that uses battery-operated solid-state cooling technology. So unlike a regular AC or a refrigerator, there is no compressor or a condenser. Each helmet weighs around 200 grams, costs 12,000 rupees and boasts a rechargeable battery that allows 10 hours of use.
This is essentially a portable form of an air conditioner. The air conditioner weighs only 200 grams and this air conditioner is then fitted onto a helmet, such that the person can wear it on the head like this and have the air conditioner flow around the head, keeping the person comfortable while working at say 40 to 60 degree ambient temperatures, working near heavy machinery, working outdoors near the sun, etc., keeping the person comfortable.
The feedback from trial runs have been positive, and Vadodara's Chief of Traffic Police DCP Jyoti Patel says the force has purchased 450 such helmets already and plans to order more. It is also looking at other accessories that will help personnel beat the heat.
We are even thinking of having AC jackets for the police. We are still on the trial run. We have invited a few manufacturers who are having AC jackets. So if AC helmets would work, we may even get AC jackets for them.
Just Safety, which has designed and manufactured these helmets, says the product has passed European and Indian safety tests and so is safe to use, especially since the low-power application eliminates the risk of mechanical failures or short circuits. The Kanpur police has also begun a trial run of these helmets.
अभी हमने ट्रायल के तौर पर 7 हेलमेट हम लाए हैं और हम अपने TSIs और कांस्टेबल्स को पहनाकर इसका ट्रायल कर रहे हैं. उनका हम रिव्यू ले रहे हैं ताकि इस विकेट की गर्मी में यातायात के साथ-साथ हम उनका भी ध्यान रख सकें.
Just Safety is also in talks with other police departments for its AC helmets and hopes that these devices will help prevent traffic police who spend long days in the sun in the course of their duties from succumbing to heat-related ailments like heat strokes. In Mumbai, Dhananjay Khatri.
Well, if this works, it could possibly sell like hotcakes, given the fact that the mercury is expected to soar well above 40 degrees this summer season. But with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. Thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news continues right here on CNBC TV 18.